Welcome to the Legal Code. This is a YouTube channel dedicated to discussing various legal topics. If you refer to my earlier video, I did a video discussing the crisis, the travesty of healthcare in the United States, with millions and millions of people underinsured or having no insurance, and how it's become desperate and a cry for help and definitely needing government intervention. We'll wait and see what the government does. Within that, I mentioned what Americans are doing in order to offset the astronomical healthcare costs. One of those solutions being medical tourism. And in this video, I'm going to discuss medical tourism, why Americans are turning to medical tourism, not necessarily for cosmetic reasons. I'm discussing those who are doing it for prophylactic or emergency health or just basic dental and medical care that they need, and they are going overseas in order to get it. And so that is what I will be ironing out in this video. And then I will mention my experiences with medical tourism, because I think it's only fair that I disclose my experience with medical tourism and give you my input. Now, without further ado, let's discuss medical tourism. So medical tourism has been a lifeline for Americans who cannot afford cost of care, treatments, medication in the United States. Whether they have insurance or not, it's still extremely costly for Americans. And the alternative is to seek care in alternative market, i.e. the international market, because their survival depends on this. Medical tourism is when a person travels to another country for medical care. And each year, millions of U.S. residents participate in medical tourism. Medical tourists from the U.S. commonly travel to Mexico and Canada and Central and South America and the Caribbean, mostly because of the distance. It's closer to the United States. People travel to another country to get care due to several reasons or combinations of reasons. Cost being the number one reason people travel, especially Americans travel, to get treatment or procedure that may be or is likely to be inexpensive in another country. Culture being another reason to receive care from a healthcare provider, that the patient shares a common culture and a common language with the physician and the medical facilities, as well as unavailable and unapproved procedures that may not be available in that patient's country. And so that person wants to get a procedure or therapy that is not available or approved in the United States. Also, what's interesting to note is that during the pandemic, millions of Americans were pushed into poverty and stripped of their health insurance. And so there was a study done by a nonpartisan consumer advocacy group that showed that the loss of insurance because of loss of employment due to layoffs and the crisis as a global crisis, many people experienced significant deterioration in their health. And so they had to have delayed necessary medical procedures. And so the fear of losing their insurance happened, and then their health declining, and their fear of not wanting to accumulate large medical bills, and has given to a rise and increase in the number of patients seeking medical treatment in foreign countries. So the pandemic sort of catapulted people's medical needs to have to go overseas. And so many countries who already were receiving Americans for medical care are now seeing a pent-up demand for medical tourism post-pandemic in 2022 and in 2023. The most common procedures that people undergo on medical tourism trips include dental care. That's no surprise. Very few people have robust dental care in the United States. So people have decided that in order to get necessary, whether it's implants, whether it's crowns, whatever it may be, that they have to resort to going overseas, as well as heart medicine, joint replacement surgery as the population ages, Many are experiencing the need for joint replacement, and again, as I mentioned, dental procedures. Was it in that previous video where I mentioned that the US, I think I did a TikTok video discussing where the US ranks last when it comes to healthcare system among the 11 wealthiest countries in the world, despite the US spending the highest percentage of its GDP on healthcare. According to this news report that was done by the Commonwealth Fund, it's a nonpartisan study, the country struggles with deep problems in affordability of healthcare, which affects access and equity, and is a country that has the most administrative hurdles when dealing with healthcare. Despite the US spending 17% of its GDP on healthcare, far above the other 10 countries in the study. So according to the report, the other countries analyzed in the report were Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, which were the top ranking. And the ranking is based on 71 measures across 5 areas: access to care, care process, administrative efficiency, equity, and healthcare outcomes. So according to MTA, Medical Tourism Index Survey, the top 10 countries for medical tourism in 2021 in respect to these markers and the medical services and facilities, United States came in last in all categories, with an exception of care process, meaning once a patient does interact with the medical system in the United States, the interaction is intense, meaning there's a lot of testing, there's a lot of screening, there's a lot of intervention from the doctor. So once one has to see a doctor or has to go to the emergency room or needs surgery, there's a lot of testing. The United States came in second, but last when it came to access to care. Obviously, there's inequity in terms of access to care, as well as administrative efficiency. America has the worst administrative system. There's no standardization across hospitals, across doctor's office, and that deals with the bulk of the costliness of medicine in the United States, as well as equity and healthcare outcomes. We see studies all the time that people of color have a decreased or declined healthcare outcome when compared to their white counterparts. So according to MTA, Medical Tourism Index Survey, the top 10 countries for medical tourism in 2021 in respect to these markers of healthcare and the facilities are: Canada is one of the top preferred destinations, attracting 14 million Americans besides other nations. And Canada is famous for surgical procedures such as coronary angiography and angioplasty, as well as joint replacements, plastic surgery, and other treatments. Singapore is also on the list. The World Population Review has ranked the medical facilities of Singapore as the 6th best in the world. It offers the latest medical treatments and surgeries with modern technology and all sorts of arrangements. Now, Singapore offers cost-effective medical procedures when compared to the United States, such as heart bypass surgery, joint replacements procedures. Japan is another country that is famous for its cosmetic surgery procedures and cancer treatments that are significantly less when compared to the US. Spain is also extremely cost effective, especially when it deals with advanced orthopedic procedures, as well as foot and ankle deformities, flat feet surgery, as well as dental procedures. I believe Spain is in the top 10 when it comes to dental procedures in the world. United Kingdom, the UK is famous for its cosmetic procedures such as jaw surgery, facial fillers, skincare treatments. Very, very robust cosmetic surgery market in the UK. Dubai, also famous for its modern advanced infrastructure that attracts more than 5 million tourists from around the globe. The Medical Tourism Index ranked Dubai as the most visited medical destination in the Arab world. Of course, it has world-class hospitals, the best doctors, and several specialties. Dubai attracts medical tourism mainly from the neighboring Arab and Gulf countries, as well as Asia. Some Europeans go there, as well as like Northern Africans also visit Dubai. Top class medical services in orthopedics, dentistry, dermatology, cosmetic surgery, and fertility treatment also are available in Dubai. Costa Rica, a little closer to the US. Costa Rica, which is very, very near to Miami, I believe a 4-hour flight, has become a preferred tourism destination for health tourists. It is ranked high in dentistry, cosmetic procedures as well. Some of the best health services this country offers medical tourism includes weight loss surgery and cancer treatment at very, very low cost when compared to other places. Abu Dhabi, of course, the capital city of the UAE, has been emerging destination for medical tourism. It provides numerous medical surgical facilities in the field, including multi-organ transplants, cancer care, heart bypass surgery. The Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic have established their hospitals in the Emirati. Abu Dhabi offers easy medical visa procedures, also medical tourism insurance, cost-effective packages to attract medical tourists globally. India, another place. Some of the main services that attract medical tourists to India include cardiac care, cosmetic surgery, multi-organ transplants, and alternative treatments like Ayurvedic treatments if you're into naturopathic medicine. Pakistan also has emerged as a favorite destination for medical tourism among many neighboring countries, including patients who coming from the Middle East, Northern African countries, United Kingdom, and of course the United States. There's a large diaspora of Pakistanis in the US who go back to Pakistan in order to get reasonable medical care. Now, Turkey has been getting a lot of buzz regarding the most popular destination for medical tourism worldwide. It offers 3 benefits: low cost, high quality care, quick access to top-notch medical care. So now you know where people are shopping in order to get adequate health care. The question you may be asking though, is it safe? Many people wonder if it's safe. Are there risks to go abroad for medical treatment? My answer to that is there are whole prosperous societies with doctors, dentists, plastic surgeons, qualified, board certified in that country, all over the world. You don't see many people flocking to the US for medical treatment. So where do you think those nationals are going? They're going to their doctors in their country. They don't leave their borders to come to the United States for medical care. A, because it's cheaper in their country. B, because they have the best there too. Why is it that we think only the best doctors are in the United States? Why would the United States only have the best and other countries not have the best? So this is just us being Americans thinking that America has a monopoly on the best of everything, and that's honestly not true. Because as you could see, people in other countries have more robust healthcare systems than the United States, and their healthcare systems are not market driven, and they're not designed for profit. The next question you may be asking is, what if something goes wrong? Which is a valid question and something to consider. Well, do your research. Like you would in the United States. When you book with a trusted clinic that caters to international patients, things are far less likely to go wrong. This fact runs true with the vast majority of patients who receive, i.e., excellent dental care from all over the world. The reason more Americans have become medical tourists is simply that they're seeking less expensive health care, not substandard care. Because we have the most expensive healthcare system in the world, it's not difficult to find countries that offer various procedures at like 65% of the cost of care in the United States. The number of medical tourists leaving the United States is going up exponentially and was estimated in 2017 to be around 14 to 16 million. That number has gone up dramatically, nearly doubling, and it's expected to rise to 25% per year. The financial impact of medical tourism is profound. Medical visit is estimated to be around $3,800 to $6,000 cash per visit, and the total spent per year globally is expected to be between 45 and 72 billion. So this is a $1 billion industry. The value of the entire medical tourist business per year is approximately $439 billion. So something can go wrong in the US just like anywhere else. There are unskilled physicians in the US. I mean, look how many people die at the hands of a rogue doctor. Look at Michael Jackson, who had the money to pay for the best doctors, but pretty much had a doctor on his payroll that he was paying to kill him. And look at the nursing school debacle that just came out last week, it was, about a nursing school giving fake diplomas to their students in order for the students to sit for the licensing exam and get jobs. So these nursing schools, most of which are in Florida, Sacred Heart International, International Institute, Siena College of Health, and the Palm Beach School of Nursing so far, all of them were involved in this nursing diploma scam. 25 people were charged. This was a whole operation of owners, operators, employees, recruiters that were inducing people to take shortcuts, the easy way to graduate or to be able to sit for the licensing exam, and gave out, 7,600 people paid for this at $15,000 a pop. So totaling $100 million this operation brought in. So that means there are a bunch of medical professionals, specifically nurses, who technically are not qualified to be nurses. And we don't know who they've come in contact with, how many patients, have they caused any accidental deaths? And we know that they have questionable morals and ethics just from taking this deal, this shortcut. So there's rogue actors everywhere. And just because you're an American doctor, American healthcare provider, or an American nurse does not exempt you from doing unethical things, making mistakes that could be avoided, or making questionable calls. So consider that. And I also remember in the 90s, there was a bunch of nurses who sat for a license exam where they all cheated. I think they were paying around $500 a page to get the test so they can pre-fill in their answers and know what to expect on the licensing exam. And that was for a state board licensing exam. It was a big thing in the 90s and the 80s. So I give these examples to say the US is not exempt from having unskilled medical professionals with poor ethics, poor morals. You still have to do your research, whether it's in the US or abroad. The US investigation has shown that there are about 15,000 elderly patient deaths per month in hospitals, totaling about 180,000 deaths per year. These deaths are due to mistakes, surgical errors, and infection. There was a report released, I think it was Kaiser that released this report, showing that 44% of these mistakes, deaths, surgical mistakes, were totally avoidable. So medical tourism involves people seeking out inexpensive medical care or medicine, not substandard. Just think of insulin medicine. One trip to the pharmacy for insulin for a 3-month supply would cost around $3,700. In Mexico, it costs $600. Look at this chart. This was a landmark study published by the RAND Corporation in 2020 that analyzed the average price of 7 different forms of insulin. In 33 countries contained on the chart, United States outranks and outprices all of the other. The study revealed the manufacturer price for any given type of insulin averaged 5 to 10 times higher in the United States than in any other wealthy developing country that was participated in this study. Even when using the net prices, which incorporate possible rebates, U.S. prices would be roughly 4 times higher than other countries. The combined top 10 are shown above, and the full data for every country and type of insulin appear in the table further down. Furthermore, diabetes is an expensive condition to have. Diabetics must also purchase glucose monitors, test strips, lancets, and other supplies. Upgraded formats such as inhalers, insulin pens can be easier to use and travel with, but these tend to cost even more, even with insurance. So the cost of insulin and other necessary supplies for someone to maintain their diabetes can often cost more than a typical patient can reasonably afford. And so the alternative has been to buy insulin in Mexico, in Canada, in Costa Rica, where it is a fraction of the cost. So more and more people are turning to medical tourism for this reason. I'm currently in Colombia. I have my experience with medical tourism. I went to the dentist, and oh my God, what a wonderful experience. Not only were the doctors top-notch professional, but they were also knowledgeable, thorough. I was in such good hands. I had 2 dentists observe me. Everything was documented. They gave me a chart as to the phases of the procedure that I'm doing, so I could go home and research exactly what was being done. I'm so happy with my results, even though I was doing this for and I'm going to explain in a follow-up video about my experience with medical tourism in Colombia, and I'll do a little vlog and share with you what it's like. And my mother's also having a procedure done, so I'll share that with you so that you can get a glimpse that I'm an advocate for this type of alternative in order so that people can have adequate access to healthcare. I have my own personal experience with medical tourism, not just in Colombia, but also I've seen physicians in other countries, and my God, the treatment, it's a whole different level of treatment. There's less rigmarole. There's no dealing with insurance companies, whether the insurance company is going to cover it or whether they're going to deny your claim. It really is easier for an American to travel abroad if they have the resources and the means to get treatment. Let me know about your experience with medical tours. Do you know anyone who's traveled abroad to receive treatments, to receive care? And let me know what you think about that. Let me know your opinions about health insurance in the US. I'm sure most people, despite what side of the aisle you may be on politically, know that it's a travesty and it needs to be fixed. People are dying at the hands of having inadequate health care and inability to access reasonable health care to save their lives, to deal with their everyday medical needs. So I'll leave you with that. Let me know your thoughts. All comments are welcome, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.